All right, here is lesson 8.5, take 2, because the last one would not save. Hence the delay. Sorry about that. All right, so we have proportionality that we're talking about, but this time we're talking about it with graphs. So I think you're going to find that this is pretty cool. Although I know a lot of you had trouble with graphing on the pretest, I really think you can get it. It's just a little bit of a reminder that you might need. Okay, so please go in your packet to the notes page that talks about proportionality and graphs. And I am going to just cover this up because I already recorded this once, and I'm going to have you just record as we go. So here we go. The definition of a proportional graph means that it's a straight line and it passes through the origin. And if you remember, the origin is really just 0, 0. It's the place where the two x and y axes cross. So facts and characteristics, basically it has to have a straight line and it has to be a graph through 0, 0. If it's not both of those, then it's not proportional. All right, so if we want to look at some examples and non-examples, examples would be this line right here that goes from left to right. It still goes through the origin. And the other example would be any positive graph that goes from left to right, going up. That is also a proportional graph because it goes through the origin, which is right here, and it has a straight line. Over here, we have non-examples. Those are ones that are not proportional because this is a straight line that does not go through the origin, and this is a curve. So it really could be a lot of other options, but these are just a couple of options that are non-examples. All right, moving forward to the homework. The homework is later in the packet, and it looks like this. I'll erase my notes so I can go over this again with you. Here we go. We need to determine whether the following graphs represent a proportional relationship. And another word for proportional is direct variation. That means that if I put in an x value, it will directly be related to the y value every time. In other words, I multiply the x value by the same number every time to get the y value. With a graph, the way you can see this is by looking at the slope. That is the steepness of the line. We'll talk about this more later, but really you're just looking at how high up do I go to get from one point to the other, and how far over do I go? I'm sorry, my screen isn't calibrated great, so you can probably do this better on your paper, but notice it starts at the origin, so 0, 0. That's one of the reasons for each you have to show how you know. So I know that it has the origin and it's a straight line. Because of that, this is proportional. Yes, but I want you to go one step further and give the equation, y equals. And now, you know how to find the equation using the table, but to use the graph, you look at how high up does it go and how far over. So this is plus 3 up and plus 2 over. I'm saying plus because it's going up, and I'm saying positive 2 to the right because it's going again to the right. Remember, your x and y graph, if this is the x-axis, all the negatives are over here, and all the positives are over here. On the y-axis, all the positives are straight up, and all the negatives are straight down. So this graph would be y equals 3 over 2x. And you can kind of picture in your mind that table. This is the ratio, 3 over 2. Over here, does it go through 0, 0? No, that's a big no. So it's no, this is not proportional. Notice, there's no dot right there. The line does not go through the origin. Looking down, we've got a graph that's a straight line and it goes through the origin. So that's a yes. But I also want you to try to write the equation. Y equals. It's going to have something times x. To find this something, we look at the slope. I look at a point and I figure out how far up do I have to go and how far over to get to the other point. So I go up 1, but now this time I'm going to go to the left. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, bunny hop. So because it's to the left, it's going to be -4. And again, I write my y first and then my x. So my slope is 1 over -4, which is just -1/4 x. So my equation, again, is y equals -1/4 x. If you can even find the equation for these, that's bonus. That would be awesome. But at least please try to find the equation for the ones that are proportional. Look at the next page. This, you're just going to be graphing the line yourself first. And then once you graph it, you have to figure out if it's proportional.
Sorry, the interruption. Guru, please come to the front entry, please.
Sorry about the announcement.
Guru to the front
So
entry.
here we go. X, again, goes left or right. Y goes up or down. So I'm going to start at -1. That means I start at 0 and I go to the left 1. And then I go down 3 and draw a dot. So if you want, don't put the other dots on there, that's fine. All I'm going to do is write it at -1, -3. Then 0, 0. Then I graph 1 and then up 3. Remember, I always go left or right first and then up or down. So 2 is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 3 is at 7, 8, 9. Because I can see that this is a straight line, I would love for you to use a ruler and draw that line. Notice it's also through the origin. That means that it is proportional, yes. And if you can even write the slope, or look right here in this table, do you see that it's times 3? Then our equation is y equals 3x. Awesome. Try to do the next ones. And notice at the bottom, it's going to ask you for making your own table, and it gives you the situation. This is 0.5 inches per month. So we have to have the number of months. Remember I told you that always goes on the bottom, and that's because x is on the bottom when we're talking about our ratio. And y is the hair growth. So I would suggest start with 0 and maybe go by 2s. But you have to get to 12 months because it asks you how much it would be after 12. So either skip to 12 or you need to keep going until you get to 12. So think about it. If it goes 0.5 per month, that means that at 0 months it's going to be 0 growth. But at 2 months it would be 1 because I did half times 2. And don't forget when you draw your graph, you need to make sure, oops, I did that wrong. Make sure that you do x, y, and then make sure that you answer if it's proportional or not. All right, great job. Let me know if you have any questions tomorrow in class.